So this afternoon, we're talking about women and disaster. Okay, Women's Month because, and also at the same time, it's a fire prevention month. So there seems hot and fire and women and disaster, okay, at the same time, okay. So what if I will ask, okay, what if an earthquake of 7.6 hit Metro Manila today, as in now? So there will be around 170,000. Okay, so if this is Metro Manila, okay, so there will be around 170,000 collapsed residential houses, 340,000 damaged residential, 34,000 people dead, 114,000 injured, and 18,000 dead from secondary disaster. When we talk about secondary disaster, these are disasters coming from fire, infrastructure, and faulty lifelines. So it had happened before, though not in Manila, but according to Philbooks, it could happen again. It's like history repeats itself. When we went to Singapore, according to Earth Observatory Singapore in Nanyang Technological University, the typhoon Haiyan is already happened before. So it's history repeat itself. Now, my journey as an emergency medical services began when I survived the grueling 3 days under the rubble in Baguio City. For all our international students, Baguio City is known to be the summer capital of the Philippines. So if you want to relax, unwind, chill out, then you go to Baguio City. Yes, they just had their panagbenga. Okay, but this is the picture of Baguio City come 1990. So I wasn't in Hyatt Hotel because people would say, oh, you were in Hyatt. No, I was not in Hyatt. I was in one of the makeshift boarding house that my parents could afford to house me. And then that was an earthquake in Baguio. So I was already pronounced dead because my ID from St. Louis University was found in one of the cadaver. That's why my parent told me that, to my brother, okay, can you please go to Baguio and check for your sister so we could bury her in a nice way? So it was after 5 days my brother went home. I went to Baguio. That was the same time I was able to regain my strength and went back to Pangasinan. So they thought that it's a ghost. So my mother told me that, you know, Sandy, we're going to bury you, don't worry, we're going to give you a decent funeral and everything. I said, Ma, I'm alive! I survived the earthquake. Yeah, that's why they couldn't, I mean, they keep on asking, how, what food did you eat, and then nothing. So, but I had this post-traumatic stress disorder. It's like trauma, rape, victim, that every now and then, if there is a typhoon, I have this anxiety. It's fear of the unknown. I don't know why I'm feeling that way, but I really felt that way. That's why in order to counteract that feeling, I really have to go out. Then that's where I find myself that I would like to be an emergency medical services. My experience from that earthquake has ignited my resolve to take a proactive approach to disaster. So I transferred to Manila to find an emergency medical service school, but there's none. So I played an active role as a Red Cross volunteer until such time I became a registered nurse. So in that picture of where I'm wearing a uniform of nursing, is the guy up is my husband. He was one of the students in that school where I teach. Yes, Alvin. Okay. So I was the one who influenced him to take up nursing. And then during these years, I realized that there's a large disparity between people who would like to help and people who are trained or certified as disaster managers. So it also came to my attention that there's a lot of Filipinos who are passionate. You tell them that let's go to this area, and one text, around 100 to 2,000 people would arrive. And then which made me realize that I could share my knowledge in order to address great disparity between the level of knowledge and the skills of Filipino emergency responders. Thus, the birth of CHEERS happened. So CHEERS is, I mean, we're dealing with emergency, we're dealing with calamity, we're dealing with disasters, but my husband and I thought of having it positive. So think of a word that makes you happy. Just say cheers, okay? This is an acronym of Community, Health, Education, Emergency, Rescue Services. So that in an emergency, 85% of emergency happen in the pre-hospital. So from your house to the hospital, 85% is the emergency. So what will happen between that period of in your house going to the hospital? So that is where we are focusing right now. Disasters are not exclusive to the Philippines. In fact, in Southeast Asia, they are collectively vulnerable to natural disasters such as, okay, we name it, we have it in ASEAN. Typhoons, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, landslide, and forest fires. The need to provide certified and quality EMS training has presented itself. Under our leadership, Cheers, a seven-year-old social enterprise, currently offers the following program. So in partnership with government institutions, we are offering Global Disaster Preparedness Program, or GDPP, Emergency Medical Technician, in case of emergency, ICE program. I would like to announce that we will be having 13 episodes of ICE in case of emergency program that will be aired in Net 25, I think hopefully this April. So it will be a household, instead of watching the teleserye, I would like to encourage you to watch in case of emergency, so your kids would have an update on how this emergency could be likely to be solved. And then we also have the basic life support, the first aid training, and the institutional and community pre-disaster recovery and business continuity planning, emergency food reserve, a social enterprise program, okay. In partnership with private sector disaster management network, we are now offering an ambulance service, a 24/7 ambulance service. Okay. I know that some of us wouldn't want to ride in an ambulance, but in case of emergency, you know what to call, what number to call now in case of emergency, and you'll be needing an ambulance. Okay, we have established partnership in various institutions in the region, such as, okay, Stikis Budilupur in Cimahi, Indonesia. We've started as Cheers and Stikis, but now we already have 58 different institutions. And last night we decided that there's a need to put up the branch of Cheers wherein ASEAN is seated. And aside from that, we also have partnership from Hong Kong and other parts of the ASEAN region. So in a short span of time, we're able to train 33,721 healthcare students and professionals, disaster frontliners, and ordinary citizens to be equipped in responding to emergency situations, again, to prevent unnecessary human, property, and economic loss. So today, we're so proud to say that Cheers is one of the few training institutions of its kind who work hard to have our accreditation with the Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, the Department of Education, with TESDA, Department of Science and Technology, in partnership with the Emergency Food Reserve, OWA. Okay, in case you have some friends or relatives that's working abroad, they can have the training program with us using the scholarship from Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. They don't have to pay. And then we also have the PRC as a CPE credit units for those professionals. At the same time, internationally, okay, what else? Okay. Next, internationally, okay. We are so happy because our students would ask, okay, what institution we will partner or we will volunteer after we train in Cheers. So we're happy to say that they could now be part of the management network of the private sector disaster management network. PSDMN, where I am now the president, and together with us is our chairman, Colonel Alejandro Escaño, is a network of all the responders. So this is where we belong. So there is no rich or poor, there is no black or white. Okay, PSDMN is also the private arm of National Disaster NDRRMC, National Disaster Reduction Management Council. Okay, NDRRMC, long acronym. Okay, so. And we are so happy also to say that internationally we reaching a lot of partners. Okay, we have said it before during the video. And then, okay, this is what I'm so proud of now. Okay, Cheers also produces the Emergency Food Reserve, a team from product research by ITDI, the UST, Department of Science and Technology, which became a project in partnership with Cheers, PSDMN, and the UST. We have adopted a community of farmers in Botolas and Zambales. Okay, if you can see, that's the farmer. And then there is the products. So the product is composed of moringa, sweet potato, mungo, cassava. Those four products can be sliced, dried, and then become a tropical flour. So now we are producing the most nutritious pulveron in the country. You can have a taste later on. And also a nutritious energy chocolate bar. The kids really love it. You wouldn't have the taste of the vegetable. So for those mothers like me who find it so hard to feed their kids with vegetables, then this is the right food for you. One piece of pulveron or one piece of chocolate bar is equivalent for, I think, 35 pieces of orange. So they have enough vitamin C. Yes, that is according to the UST FNRI, Dr. Go. Okay. So that is the ecosystem that we have. And we're so happy also. You know, Cheers is not a big company. We belong to SME. But with the small profit that we have, we are able to give an allocation of 50,000 in partnership, of course, with our chairman of PSDMN, 50,000 pesos for the farmers in St. Paul University of the Philippines to have a 1 hectare of land wherein they could plant those 4 products that can be used for the region too. So what is the ecosystem all about? If we can convince people to have per region the ecosystem of there's farmer, there is mothers that would be producing, and then at the same time there will be a community that would pack. Then we will correct the malnutrition problem, and also since we are focusing on disaster preparedness, then the emergency and disaster would also give a solution to that. Okay. So, balancing being a mother, entrepreneur, and a woman leader. I am very passionate with my job. As a matter of fact, I don't consider it a job. This is me. This is what I love doing it. I'm so thankful with my ever-supportive husband for 18 years, Mr. Alvin Montano, who has helped me establish Cheers. Okay, there are some pictures, yeah, wherein he cannot be found, like in Myanmar, because he's the one behind the lens. Because he's an artist and a photography at the same time, photographer. So I'm a handsome mother who, despite my busy schedule, allows quality time with my 3 kids. I also make sure to send them to school myself every morning. I have breastfed all my 3 children. Until now, my 5-year-old daughter, I'm breastfeeding her. I don't know, they said that 2 years is the best for kids or for babies, but I just wonder, I asked my pediatrician, how come until 5 years I'm breastfeeding her? Because, you know, the bonding would be very good when she grew up. Okay. So I believe that the best gift a mother could give, aside from good education and value inculcate, is breastfeeding as part of their life skills. Sometimes people would say that you cannot have everything in this world. I want to say this. We really have to work hard to balance challenges in life, in our family, career, and community. I could say that I am an example of a domesticated, yet an epitome of modern career woman. Yeah. So what is my journey in the ASEAN Business Awards? Okay, I would like to tell you a very cute note on how I started my award in ASEAN. ASEAN Business Awards, or AB, is a yearly program organized by the ASEAN Business Advisory Council in the region. So there is an ASEAN Business Awards Advisory Council per member state country. So similarly, they recognize local enterprises have contributed to the growing economy of the country and assisted in bettering the Philippines' image in the region. For enterprise to be able to enter the ABE, or ASEAN Business Advisory, one must first complete a thorough ASEAN Business Award from the Philippines or the country. There are two categories, large businesses and the SME. Cheers belong to SME, small medium enterprise. So I entered the category of SME under the Woman Leader. I was seated, okay, if you can see beautiful women. Aileen Aviva, Dr. Vicky Bello, and yours truly. So we were the three finalists. So I was seated in the middle and prepared my phone to capture who among them, is it Aileen Aviva, is it Dr. Bello, will go up the stage for the said award. My win came as a pleasant surprise, which brought tears of joy when Ms. Patricia Hison was reading the profile of the winner. So if you can see, I cried the whole time I was on the stage. I cannot hold it. Yeah, I was just so surprised and so happy. Receiving the prestigious award is a distinct honor at the same time, a commitment to educate more people to save lives. Woman Leader Award was a new category then, which makes yours truly the first women leader award in the Philippines. President Aquino said, okay, stop crying, you're the winner now. So I couldn't stop. Until such time I went down, and then that's where I really cried. Because I told Professor Macaranes that for me, emergency medical services, what I'm doing, if there's a disaster, that's natural. I don't need an award for me to say that you've done a good job, because fitting, the finalist is very good also, considering their stature, they are well known, and who am I to compete with them? Okay, so that is a part. Okay, together with, then came the international, okay, which is ASEAN Business Awards in Myanmar. Okay, together with 5 other winners, we then joined the Philippine representative to Naypyidaw in Myanmar. That was November 11 to 13, 2014 in the ASEAN Business Investment Summit. As the Philippine representative to the ASEAN Business Awards, I was up against big companies again. From the ASEAN member state, majority of the women leaders are very senior of my age and big players in the industry. The second and third runner-up was called on stage to receive the award. A milestone yet unfolding. In the end, it was the uniqueness of Cheers, my continuous humanitarian service and hard work that outshone the competitors. I gracefully walked. This time, no crying. I promised myself I have to walk gracefully because my gown is a gift from Secretary Patricia Licuanan. So she said, no crying, lady, no crying. Okay, I gracefully walked on the stage to receive my award as the first ASEAN Woman Leader awardee of the region, representing 10 countries. These awards serve as a recognition that personal tragedies in our lives can be transformed into foundation of an advocacy, and that a good and great and effective advocacy can be the foundation of a sustainable business enterprise. The award also inspires us to continue to put the heart and the people at the center of our business. The award also strengthens the personal belief and values of the founders, the personnel, staff, and stakeholders of Cheers, which is helping communities and workplaces today for tomorrow's uncertainties, empowering local citizens to be globally competitive with internationally accredited and recognized health, safety, and paramedic training, and partnering within the ASEAN in nation building by reducing the vulnerability and developing resilience in communities, workplaces, and homes through disaster risk mitigation, business continuity, and building back better is a good business enterprise. The woman leader can be considered as a positive changer, because every person that I would talk, I would like to ask them, can you volunteer for PSDNN? What is PSDNN? Oh, I just give money, I just give resources. Okay, what we want are warm bodies, people to be part of us in the disaster risk reduction. Okay, I consider myself as a social enterprise. or a social entrepreneur. Because Cheers, when we started Cheers, we just want to teach people and educate people during disaster or in preparation for disaster. We didn't expect that it will sustain 7 years now. So if they say that if you open a business, 10 businesses after 3 years, it will fall, 7 businesses will fall down. And then after like 5 years, only 1 will survive. So maybe we can say that Cheers has surpassed its honeymoon stage. So we're now in the reality of life that we really have to create more partners and go out in other countries. So in line with our advocacy movement to expand Cheers, it is my honor to announce that we will be launching a t-shirt design and advocacy. We call it I Am ASEAN Citizen, One Mission, One Response. Because every time that we go in a disaster, they would ask me, what organization you belong? Okay, I am ASEAN Citizen. So we would be creating citizen ambassadors that is in the front line. Every time there's a disaster, all you have to do is wear your t-shirt. That's why calling all those t-shirt enthusiasts or IT, let's design our ASEAN Citizen t-shirt. Okay, this is already approved by the ASEAN Secretariat. At the same time, it will be sponsored by the Chairman of ASEAN Business Advisory Council, Mr. Manny Pangilinan. Okay, he's just waiting for the design. Okay, so to end my speech, I would like to share this lesson. You know, when God said to Noah to build the ark, it's not even raining. It was sunny afternoon. But God said Noah to build the ark, and he did. From biblical to digital, now there's a lot of high technology that could help us to detect if there is a typhoon coming, the raindrops, if there is earthquake coming, tsunami. So this is part already of our daily living. With the global warming, climate change, safety and security issues that we are faced every day in our lives, the best way to mitigate the risk is through disaster preparedness. This is my motto in life. Okay? Sometimes, God uses our deepest pain as launching pad for our greatest calling. Good afternoon and mabuhay po.